Hi, I'm Ananya. I'm a junior content manager with Trip 101. And today I have another colleague of mine joining me who traveled all the way to Japan. And she's going to be sharing about her trips. But before we do that, I want to extend a very warm welcome to you on the session today, Diya. I'm very pleased to have you.
Hi, Ananya. I'm pleased to be here and share my travel stories with you guys and be
I've, al-
featured on 101 Travel Talk.
I've already heard a little bit about your trip from when we spoke about it earlier, and I'm so excited to deep dive into it today because I know you had a lot of fun when you went.
Lots.
Before we discuss more about Japan, Dia, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself as a traveler? Where you're from, how frequently do you travel, and what type of trips do you do?
Sure. Hi, everybody. I'm Diya, and I'm a senior content manager at Trip 101. I've been working here for the last 6.5 years. That's a long time. And I'm originally from India, Kolkata, which is a small town in the east side of India, but I'm now settled in Singapore. So I do all my most of my travels out of Singapore, which and Japan is only a 7 hour flight away. And that made it a good choice for us to like access and otherwise a really long flight for the Indians. So we were lucky to be in Singapore and break that journey for us. And as for the kind of traveler that I am, I think I'm a mix of two kinds, like the one that wants to explore the touristy things also, but I wouldn't want to check all the boxes. I would rather stop at, let's say, the top three or four, then find more unique spots. But if you're traveling with a group, then you'll have to go with what the majority says. But that's the kind of travels that I like to do personally. And yeah, today I'm here to walk you through my travels. I had lots of fun and I traveled with a group of four people. We were five together, two friends, my husband, and my sister in law. All of them had Japan on their bucket list. We made a plan very suddenly. And we went during the top season, the peakest of the peak seasons, which was the year-end holiday season. Yeah. So we went last year.
Yeah, you're quite right. It's the peakest of the peak seasons. It's when everyone wants to be about out and about and explore a destination. So you're so lucky that you were able to make a sudden plan and yet visit Japan, which is quite a hot favorite for a lot of people.
Yeah, let's just say the world has discovered Japan. And Japan is struggling to accommodate everybody, especially during the holidays. And we were lucky actually because I would like to tell the viewers that do not make an impromptu trip or like an impromptu plan without much time in hand for peak seasons. By peak seasons, the year-end holidays for sure, and also the Sakura. You need to plan ahead to make sure you get the tickets, to make sure you get a visa in hand because for visas, I think we were like really lucky because we got our visa in hand with 3 days to go to the travel. So sure whether or not we would be able to make it. But yeah, luckily we did get it in hand in time. But I wouldn't advise that. Like you should plan ahead at least 8 weeks in advance. Yeah.
You were saying that you made quite sudden plans. How sudden were your plans? How when did you book for the year-end holiday season?
So our departure dates were 17 December and we decided October, middle October. And the middle October went into, okay, we fixing the itinerary internally among ourselves, like hashing out and finalizing the final spots that we would like to hit. And then we only had a month. So we thought we had a lot of time because the Japanese site says you get the e-visa in 5 business days. We applied 4 weeks in advance. But like I said, we just got the visa with 3 days to go. So they took 4 whole weeks to
Hmm.
get the yeah, that was something, a nail biting finish.
Yeah, that's quite cutting it quite close. 3 days in hand is really, yeah. I'm sure you had a lot of palpitations.
Terrible it was. We were like, our friends in India, from India, they applied from India. They got it really soon, within 2 weeks. We applied from Singapore, and because a lot of people were traveling, there was a backlog. Ours was the most delayed. So everybody was on tenterhooks. Everything depended on whether we would get the visa or not. But yeah.
Did the five of you as a group decide that you wanted to go during the holiday season, or was it just the time that you had your holidays and that's how it was scheduled at that time of the year?
So it was decided suddenly because yeah, my husband said he wants to suddenly spend his birthday in somewhere outside Singapore. And then his birthday is on 6th January. So holiday end of the year is always was the only option for us at that point in time, even though
Mm.
that timing was not our first choice. But yeah, we still went ahead with it because he wanted a birthday trip.
That's a really great place to be on your birthday,
For
traveling
sure.
in Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you went, what was the weather like at that time of the year? Was it snowing in Japan?
We wished. One of my friends hasn't ever seen snow, so he really prayed hard to the weather gods for the snow, but it didn't snow. But it was freezing. The winds were really freezing. It was really cold. So somewhere close to 5 to 6 degrees and maybe even lower at night. And it was the wind that was more cold than anything else. So we had to be very warmly dressed and prepared for that weather. So yeah, it did snow 3 days later after we left. So that was quite sad.
Oh no, your friend just missed it.
In the news as soon as just to torture him.
Coming to where you went, what cities did you zero in on? What were the places on your itinerary?
Our itinerary was quite touristy, maybe because we had a lot of first timers with us. My husband and I had briefly touched Tokyo and Kyoto before, but it was very brief. We definitely wanted to come back again and explore more. But others were all first timers, so we decided on Tokyo, Kyoto, and Osaka. And we chose Osaka because it's a good place to do some day trips from. So we wanted to visit Hiroshima and we wanted to visit Kobe, and Osaka is a perfect spot to do your day trips from. So yeah, we covered these three places.
Okay. How did you go about it? Which one did you go first? How were you moving through Japan?
So what we did, we landed in Tokyo, decided to just touch down in Tokyo, not stay there and go straight for Kyoto. From there, we moved to Osaka. And then we came back to Tokyo, spent 5 days, and exited from Tokyo again.
Okay. So was there a reason why you wanted to see Kyoto first? From your earlier trip, did you remember it was the spot you wanted to see more?
For sure, we definitely wanted to stay because earlier we had stayed for 2 nights, which was barely enough. Like we're just scratching the surface. This time we stayed around 5 nights in Kyoto. And so we decided to start with Kyoto first because first we had to exit out of Tokyo. All of
Mm.
us had our return tickets from Tokyo. We thought we'll spend the last leg of the trip in Tokyo, spend the birthday, and head out from there. So that was
Mm.
the
When you landed in Kyoto, that was the first part of your trip. So over the 5 days that you were there, what did your days look like, or what all did you do while you were in Kyoto?
Yeah, so time really flew. First thing, we split our days into two parts. We stayed in a hotel for a couple of days and we wanted to experience something more authentic. So we stayed in a matcha house. Both had different locations. So we planned our itinerary of seeing the attractions as per the locations. So we started off with a very central, when we stayed at the hotel, we stayed at the hotel first. So it was a very central district. So it was situated in the Gion district, which is a very famous geisha spotting district in Kyoto. And from there, a lot of the attractions around that place is very easily accessible, especially if you want to walk out at night and see the quiet, empty streets free of crowd and then
Mm.
experience the lanes and take your shots and your photos. So that was really great. And that was something a lot of our friends wanted to do. They wanted to get up really early in the morning or walk out late at night and walk the streets empty, free of any tourists, and just take the shots, take photos, take the feel of the place. That was what we could do also, which was great. And so what we did, we went to see the Gion district, but it was late. So we did that. Like we went out late at night, but all the shops are shut. So you just
Mm.
experience the lanes, the empty lanes. That's it. So the next morning, we went to the famous Kinkakuji temple, which is the golden temple of Japan. And it's
Mm.
beautiful. It's situated in the middle of a lake, surrounded by greenery and like layers of gold. It was a bright sunny day, so the gold was really shining bright and made for lovely photo ops. And yeah, it was crowded. You have to scurry for a good photo op without crowds, find a spot. Kinkakuji was really, really great. We took a bus from our hotel. So our hotel was situated very close to a bus stop. So we could easily get up, hop on a bus and just went in Kakuji. And then basically from there, we spent the day walking around, admiring the temple. And then we went to nearby another temple called Ryonji Temple. So it was also a bus ride away. So we could just hop on a bus and land there. And it was a Zen garden shrine. So we were exploring and Zen gardens in Japan are very pretty. They're very picturesque. They have these torii gates, shrines, the red Japanese gates. We found one in the middle of the forest. And I think we spent all of our time there just taking photos. So I can
You
say that
found an empty spot.
yes, completely empty all to ourselves. And then, so that is what, because Ryonji temple is not that famous. Some people can give it a miss if they have like more things to more touristy things on their itinerary or the time is short. You can give this a miss. But if you do want to explore smaller Zen gardens, it's really close to this big main attraction, which is Kinkakuji. So that was one day. And then one of the top attractions that goes viral on Instagram is the Arashiyama bamboo forest. It's an hour from central Kyoto. Like it's a 1 hour bus ride from central Kyoto. I wouldn't recommend this personally because it looks like an Instagram scam kind of a thing because in the pictures they show dense green bamboo forests and empty lanes, but in reality the trees aren't that dense. And in winter, they were drier also. They'd lost their color. So it wasn't a good idea to go there. Plus, it was super crowded. So yeah, it wasn't at all what in Instagram.
Oh, okay.
So
I
it
have
is
seen it quite a bit. Yeah, it
it is
does
one
show
of
up.
the it is one of the inspirational sites for it, but it is not. So it's a big scam. It's
Okay.
not as pretty as they make it out to be. If you go early, you might get empty lanes, but it won't be as green or beautiful as shown in the gram. So we
Maybe
didn't.
another season. Maybe
Yeah, maybe.
summerish season is
Yeah.
when it's.
But be prepared for crowds because it is popular. People do go there and it's
Yeah.
crowded during the main hours. Yeah. And then another place we didn't spend much time there. We quickly went around and headed back to Gyeon because we didn't see a geisha. But one thing about Gyeon that people must know that geishas don't come out during the tourist hours. They know that the tourists are going to be around and they get hassled for photos. And there are big signs in Gyeon that say, please don't be respectful towards a geisha. We didn't spot one, but in my first travel, I did spot, and that
Oh.
was by chance. So yeah, we were roaming the streets. It was quite late at night, and we were returning from a dinner from a random little local shop. And then I spotted a geisha. Obviously, I could tell because her face was in white makeup.
Mhm.
And it looked like what she was speaking to her business client who was in a suit, and both of them were taking a cigarette break outside. So we walked by, and I was staring internally. I was like, oh, I spotted a geisha. But yeah, this time we did not because they don't come out. If you go there expecting to see it, then you'll be disappointed. If you see by chance, that's a bonus. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say that it's a classic example of you don't find things when you go looking for them.
Absolutely. But there are packages where you can book a tour and watch a ceremony with a geisha or, yeah, something like that. For that, you have to pay. But otherwise, spotting a geisha on the streets is quite hard.
Okay.
And one more area that we really like, and we wanted to go back again, but there was no time, is a Pontocho alley. So this alley is it's a very small, dark alleys filled with these local bars and local restaurants. So basically, the Japanese businessmen would gather there, and there are still some establishments that only have them. If you peek through a window, you'll see suited Japanese businessmen are sitting, drinking, and having discussions or whatever, and they don't really encourage tourists. What we realized that if the establishment has a English menu, then that means you're welcome. If they don't, keep off. Keep off. Don't try to enter. Yeah, they will not encourage it. So yeah, we were peeking and it looked fun. Like it was like a smoking room. They were having their cigars and it was straight like out of a movie. These lanes are quite narrow and filled with a lot of shops. So you just walk into any one of them where you find an English menu and then you go and sit and have dinner. So it was Christmas Eve or Christmas Day when we went to Pontocho and we zeroed in on a restaurant. It turned out to be jackpot because we had the best meal of our lives.
What did you have?
Oh, we had beef stew and we had yakitoris, which are just meat skewers. And then we had pork dumplings, omelets, and hot sake. So in that cold, so they served with they didn't serve, we asked for hot sake. And it was amazing because we have low tables and chairs. So you sit with your legs folded on the ground and you eat. And yeah, it was really nice, warm and cozy. So food was great and it was a good Christmas dinner.
In winter, especially, food is quite like you
The
just,
hot, yeah.
yeah. And you were walking around a lot, exploring and peeking into many restaurants, so you needed
We were
good.
tired from our activity and hungry.
Yeah, but that sounds like a yum dinner.
It was memorable. Yeah, I think, and then one of the star attractions of Kyoto, and insisted on visiting it again, just so that my friends could enjoy this as much as I did, was Fushimi Inari Shrine. Now,
Hmm.
this is one of the most revered shrines in Japan. And if you've seen the reels or the videos of these thousands of red torii gates, people walking through them, taking photos, so that's the one. Fushimi
It's quite an
Inari.
iconic.
They have some 12,000 torii gates leading up to the top of
Hmm.
the place, which is the main shrine area. And it's headed by the god of rice and sake. So people go all the way to the top to pay their respects to the god. And in the process, the trek is amazing because you walk through these red gates. So it's a 4 kilometer hike. And we really spend the entire day at Fushimi Inari. So what happens is that you get you access these red torii gates, and you see people are going mad trying to take photos, right? But if what they don't realize is that if they just walk 15, 20 minutes into the trek, they find more empty spaces. And eventually, the further you go, you get
Hmm.
more and more empty spaces to yourself. But a lot of people don't go all the way. So they just come there to get the photos, click, and then they walk out. So that's what we realized. But we did the entire thing, and it was very gratifying and fulfilling. So it's a 4 kilometer trek, but took us 3 hours because we were stopping, resting, taking photos, and things like that. So there are two ways to the trek. So one is a trek to the forest, which is a longer trek, and one is a trek. It's not a trek; it's a climb up the stairs. So it's a shorter route, but you just climb stairs, 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 and you reach the top. But there's no scenic beauty. The forest trek is better. I don't like walking so much. I'm a person who hails a cab rather than walk. But this forest trek is something that I really enjoyed. We took the longer forest route. It was beautiful, sun-dappled forest and red torii gates. And after a while, there are less tourists and you have the entire place to yourself. Then you come to a viewpoint where you can see the entire Kyoto city
Oh,
and you enjoy the view, resting spots, rocks, benches where you can sit and rest up. And along the way, there are pit stops where you could tea houses or shrines, smaller shrines, etc. So you can stop all the way. So it's people can rest. So that's a good thing. And then you go to the top, pay your respect to the god. And then the climb down was pretty fast, like 40 minutes or so. You just climb down because mostly you're also not stopping or anything. But yeah,
yeah.
I think that Fushimi Inari is a big highlight for me. I absolutely love that shrine.
From what I've seen on Reels, etc., it's just like that iconic site of Japan that I think one should have. Like those story gates are what I associate Japan with.
And absolutely shouldn't miss, would not miss, take the forest route.
Is the other torii gates on the staircase as well? The easier route that there is?
No,
No.
no. If they
Okay.
come, I think if they come to a plain land stretch, there might be torii gates. I'm not sure because I didn't take it both times.
Uh,
Because yeah, people there were saying it's just steps. Yeah, but the
okay.
forest is just like, you follow the torii gate and into the forest all the way to the top. So these
Uh,
story gates are actually donated by companies. So they donate, and their name is inscribed over there in Japanese letters. So it looks really pretty. So I think they donate for smaller gates. They donate 400 yen up unto millions for the larger gates. So depends on the strength of the company. But yeah,
oh,
that's their respect to the god of rice and sake.
oh, wow. Yeah. This is a really cool attraction. I'll add it to my list. I definitely like walking, so I will be.
Yeah, sure. To wind up Kyoto, A couple more places that you guys can go is definitely one place called the Nishiki Market, which again is widely covered on Instagram. They have all kinds of food. So it's just a market for food. They do have parallel lanes for retail, like other kinds of clothing and accessories, but it's the food lane that most people come for to Nishiki Market. So we had breakfast there and breakfast, heavy breakfast. So we had all kinds of it's walking past many local shops and you're just seeing what they're serving and you're picking up and tasting everything on the go that catches your attention. So we did that, and yeah, we had everything from, let's say, tempura is really popular, right? So we had tempura stuff, tempura egg, tempura prawns. Then we had some grilled prawns, everything for breakfast, mind you. And then we found some local desserts that we wanted to try. Some we like, some we didn't like. So Nishiki Market is definitely a vibe. It's an experience. So you should go there once. Again, heavily crowded if you are too late, which we were. So again, advice, go in the morning. And one of the most, I think, famous temples, the Kyomizu Temple, is we headed after that heavy breakfast to Kyomizu Temple. So it's a temple that you see, it's top of a hill, and you see a lot of autumn leaves. That's the kind of framing that you see on Instagram. But yeah, it's on top of a hill. It so means pure water. So it was built by a monk at a place where there was a waterfall. So people go there to for the view for sure, and for the drink. So there are these three outlets of water, one for each, symbolizing love, success, and longevity. You drink from one of those and bless yourself, the thing. And also the view, I think, will be amazing during Sakura and autumn. But for winter, it was pretty bare. All the leaves had fallen, so the view wasn't great. But yeah, these aspects were nice.
The water itself. I'm sure, like, whenever there's water near a prettily built human building, it definitely adds to the charm of it for sure.
Yeah, so the water is not a stream actually over there. What they've done, they've channelized it into pipes. So there's coming out from there, and you take large tongs, you're standing on top, you have these pipes coming out, water is spurting out, and you take a large ladle or spoon, you walk towards one of them, and you don't know which one is love, which one is success. I'm sure there's a way to tell, but we couldn't tell. You
Mm.
just take a little bit of water and drink and move on, and the next person comes. So it's like,
Oh, oh, you drink for whichever one you are aiming to
I
get
don't know. I just drank
identify.
from the middle one. God knows what that was. Yeah,
Maybe someone who knows can help you decode it when they're watching this video.
I've forgotten about it actually. Now that you remind me, I'll look it up which one is which.
So if I ask you to describe Kyoto, like what you walked away with after visiting Kyoto, what would you say?
Charming and stays in your heart. Carry
Okay.
it in your heart when you walk out of Japan.
Okay. That's why you wanted to revisit it, even though you had been there before.
Yeah, yeah, because of its quaintness, because it's not a big city vibe like the other two are, Tokyo and Osaka. It's like the
Hmm.
charming wooden houses, the lanes, the lanes, and everything. The entire of ancient Japan is kept intact in Kyoto. They have hand-pulled rickshaws, people dressed up that pull the rickshaws. The entire scene hits you that, oh, I'm in Japan, and it's lovely. Yeah.
Yeah. So the next stop for you was Osaka.
Osaka. So Kyoto to Osaka wasn't far. It was only a 30-minute ride in the bullet train. And so for Osaka, we were the main attraction in Osaka is this buzzing tourist capital, which is called Dotonbori. I think everybody heads there. It's by the Dotonbori Canal. So it's a riverside kind of a buzzing place full of shops, restaurants,
Hmm.
and it was super crowded when we went there. So an Indian festival, and all the people of the city have headed there,
Oh,
locals and tourists included. So we were a little taken aback, but it was again because of the season, I believe, that if you go
hmm.
at a better time, it might not be so crowded, but that's where people head to because there's so many shops, these giant buildings, lights, 3D billboards of crabs, of faces of all the Japanese, I don't know, signature icons and symbols, and so it's you'll be walking like that all over, so it's thriving. Yeah, and so we went for dinner over there. We explored the area by the river, had dinner, And yeah, we came back quickly because it was so crowded. But we could see why people are going there all the time. It's a heart, it's the tourist heart of Osaka. We also skipped some of the major attractions like the Universal Studios, which houses the wizarding world of Harry Potter. I'm a Potterhead. Osaka was on my list mainly for the wizarding world because I could access that more easily rather than London. But again, like I said, impromptu plan and peak season don't go well. So we never got the tickets. Everything was sold out. So we did not get tickets. So yeah, we decided to do day trips instead. That's why. So
Okay.
we also did not go to the Osaka Castle, which is a famous attraction. It's very pretty, but again, you have to make a journey. And then we decided we heard that the inside is not that great, even though the outside is very pretty and picturesque. So we also ditched that, and we did a day trip to Hiroshima. So Hiroshima was on my friends list, and they really wanted to see the atomic bomb museum and look up all the history related to it. But what we did was we went to this island called Miyajima Island first. So we took the train, we landed in Hiroshima, and from there we took a boat. So it's a 30-minute or 40-minute boat ride into Miyajima Island. And that was one of the best decisions, even though we were a little skeptical. And we spent so much of time there because it's such a pretty island with nice by lanes and local shops. You know how you're feeling cold and you're seeing these local shops and smoke is coming out of the chimney and they're cooking these local food and you want to soak it all in. The biggest attraction is the huge Torii Gate in the middle of the water. I don't know if you've seen a photo of this huge Torii Gate in the middle of the water that you can walk to when the water recedes, but a lot of people wait for that because the water recedes around sundown. We wanted to get back to Hiroshima for the museum, so we didn't wait. The entire day we roamed the island. We took like shots of the obviously with the Torii Gate in the background. A lot of people were hiring boats and going into the Torii Gate, like sailing through the Torii Gate is supposed to be very auspicious.
Oh, wow.
So there were a lot of people were doing that. And then we roamed the island. We sat and ate at random local cafes and stores, which were really cute. And we came across all across the island. We thought it happened only in Nara, and we did not go to Nara. But these deer, obviously, they know tourists have food and they're very friendly. They come up to you. If you're carrying any packets, they'll try to snatch it. So be careful. You can pet them with them. So they're super cute. And then you walk into this Japanese bridge, like a red bridge with the water flowing underneath it. You
Hmm.
know that this is your next photo op. So you stop there. And yeah, just the place was very charming. So
Hmm.
Miyajima Island definitely I would recommend. And then we headed back to Hiroshima. And Hiroshima really surprised me because they've really worked from the ground up from where they were at after the tragic incident. And they've kept a symbol of that blast at a place. They've like surrounded it. Apparently, the corporation had a debate whether or not to keep any memory or remembrance of the tragic event at all. And eventually, they decided to keep one little symbol just as a reminder of from this is from where we had to work our way up. And now it's a thriving city. You wouldn't know something like this happened in Hiroshima. With malls and people and buses, they've really done an amazing job. But we were late and the museum had closed and shuts down at 5 p.m. We couldn't go to the museum, but we did visit the memorial where they had a eternal flame. Now, somebody had lit the eternal flame and it's going on for years and years. It will only go down if once all the countries of the world have like surrendered their nuclear weapons, which is
Oh,
probably I don't know. It's not going to happen in the near like it
hmm.
promotes non-violence. So
Hmm.
the flame is going to keep going until that happens in the world.
That
So
must
that
have been quite a powerful sight to see.
yes, it was very humbling and
Hmm.
time to see that and to see where they have come from that tragic blast. We were really sad that we could not visit the museum, but
Hmm.
yeah, next time, keep something for next time.
Yeah. So you came back that same day when you went to Miyajima and then Hiroshima and then returned to Osaka.
Yes, it was the same day and a day trip, so we had no plans. So staying overnight, though I was tempted, the non-touristy lover in me was like, "Can we stay a night?" But obviously, it was peak season again. It's not the best time to make impromptu plans. But yeah, so we came back.
Your description of Miyajima actually reminded me of anime movies that I've seen, like those flames and smoke coming out of the yeah small wooden houses. Just
Yeah,
like picture for me immediately.
yeah. I was like, oh my God, you read a book and get an imagination, and that's right in front of my eyes. That's the thing.
Yeah. So both
Okay.
were was a good a day trip to both Miyajima and Hiroshima.
Yeah, it made me feel better that I miss Harry Potter world.
Yeah, you did need something really good to be able to forget about that.
Good, yes.
I was saying, you mentioned you took another day trip as well from Osaka.
Yeah, we did Kobe. If you have time, you can do this, but you can give it a miss also because we did not explore Kobe as much like we would explore a city because we stuck to its Chinatown where all the food was. Chinatowns are colorful, full of food shops and souvenir shops. So definitely we did go and try the Kobe beef, which was quite good, obviously. But in Japan, everywhere the food is so good, the beef
Hmm.
is so good that I didn't feel the need to especially head out to Kobe to have the beef, right? Because it was good, but yeah, nothing out of the ordinary for me personally.
Hmm.
And but other food, other kinds of food were nice, like dumplings, and we had a lot of interesting items like candied fruits. So there was really candied fruits that were glossed over with candied. So you have to break into it to get into the fruit. They had candied all kinds of fruits like oranges, strawberries. That was a big hit with the tourists, like taking it for a photo and everything. So yeah, we I think we spent the day more or less eating our way around Kobe. But I must tell you about the famous Osaka jiggly cheesecake.
Hmm.
And we were lucky enough to get our hands on one. And I did not think we would because obviously it was the season and there were the crowds. And we did go to this shopping street, which is called the Ebi Subashi Suji shopping street, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. And it houses this very famous cheesecake shop called Rikuro's. Everybody goes there for their super jiggly cheesecake that's like a puff of cloud. So we've heard, and obviously Rikuro's was open. So I was just running the moment I saw Rikuro's. There was a long queue. We stood in the queue, and then my heart stopped when that guy who was managing the queues and the crowd, he like picked up the point and asked people to come out saying that the cheesecake had finished so they can come back the next day. And we did not have a next day in hand. And we were like, no, this cannot be happening. We have to get the cheesecake. I refused to move from there. So my friends were like, okay, we're going shopping. I'm like, yeah, you shop, I'll stand here. I'll wait for you over here only. And then as luck would have it, the man called back, like he called five people for the last five cheesecake. I think they had some extras. And he was giving like a ticket to each one of us, the lucky
Hmm.
ones. Yeah, so we got included. We got the cheesecake, and I was like thinking, should I get two? Should I get three? And then yeah, but we only got one. And
Oh.
then it was as delicious as the videos make it out to be, like biting into a puff of cloud. We had a giant dinner that day and we had saved a cheesecake for a dessert. And we said, okay, today we can't have the cheesecake because, yeah, we're so full. And then we're like, oh, okay, we just cut it and taste it. And next thing was the cheesecake had disappeared. It's gone. Completely demolished. Yeah.
You were rewarded for your struggles.
Absolutely. We got lucky. I've seen videos where people are talking about not making it and not getting the cheesecake that they were sold off. Like it just sells off. You have to be really lucky to get one of the cheesecakes. So that was really great. And one of the core memories from Osaka.
So you're going to be dreaming about the cheesecake for a while.
Yeah, yeah. I have to find a duplicate or like a dupe somewhere, which is maybe not as good, maybe quite close.
Did you like any other, like any savory food items from Osaka that you really enjoy?
Dumplings, maybe? Yeah. Dumplings,
Okay.
yeah. And the quality of the meat is really great everywhere. If you are non-vegetarian, you can go all out because even local stores have great quality food.
Hmm. And what about like vegetarian food? Is something available for vegetarian?
I didn't notice. All of us were hardcore non-vegetarians, but yeah, a lot of vegetables. They do have vegetable options. So yeah, you can stick to that. Maybe tofu. Yeah.
Okay.
Tofu
Hmm.
is then a lot of like beans or bok choy, that kind of thing, that kind of vegetables. But I think for vegetarians, the desserts would make up. You can live on desserts.
What's some food memories you carried back from Osaka?
Food, food memory. Yeah, like I said, the Kobe beef, yeah, which was really great. Oh, yeah, we ran into one really small store in Kobe actually. While we were leaving Kobe, even though we did not have the space, I think one of us found one hole in the wall shop, like an Italian shop, and we had the best cream-filled custard something at that place. Like it was, I don't know what it was. It was like a maybe like a puff which had like custard filling, and it was the softest, most amazing thing we had over there and was just a surprise find. So
Hmm.
that is a food memory, and the Kobe beef is a food memory. But because other than that, every day we would have something similar, which would be all great. But now they're like all a blur. These
Hmm.
two things stand out.
Okay. So that was Osaka. And then the next one on your itinerary was, of course, Tokyo, which was the last leg of your journey.
Yes, Tokyo, we had saved last, also because of the thing, which I
Hmm.
remember repeatedly. So we thought we'll shop there. We don't have to carry around the luggage so much. So whatever we shop, we'll pile on and head back. But I think the top attractions for me in Tokyo, definitely, we shopped at different places. So that's fine. But the mad Shibuya scramble is for real. The seven-headed crossing where people are like, there's a mad scramble happening when they turn the signals on. I don't know how it is structured. Like people from all sides are coming together. And if you view it from the top, which is like a very hot topic for the photographers to get that mad scramble, there's this shopping mall on Shibuya Street called the Magnet Building. It is a shopping area, but they're famous for their rooftop. Previously, it was free. The first time I went there, we went there, we just thought we'd go to the top. Nobody was there. We had to move chairs and things like that. And view, what a view. And I think they discovered it after that. And now they made it into a beautiful terrace cafe and they charge for the entry something that amounts to $10. So basically it covers a drink. You can take a drink and watch the Shibuya scramble from the top. And
Hmm.
they have indoor seating, outdoor seating. So they discover that, okay, this is a place we can capitalize on. And they're doing that. So you can get on the Magnet building and watch the scramble, be a part of the scramble. People wear bright colors to stand out and be noticed when the so you pop when you take a photo so you know see you. Otherwise everybody is more or less in black because especially it's winter, so everybody is wearing their overcoat, which is
Hmm.
mainly blacks and the grays. So you wear a bright color and you pop out. My friend is passionate about these things, so hers are the only photos that pops out. The rest of us are again all in black, which is not a good idea. If you want a good photo, take it. So yeah, it was good fun to be part of that mad scramble and take photos. And those are the Super Mario carts. People dress up in Mario outfits and they drive these carts and they cross Shibuya crossing all the time. So it's a thing to do when in
Oh,
Japan. You do that, but there are some license things. So if you have that figured out, you're allowed to really ride the Super Mario carts. So yeah. So Shibuya Crossing was definitely one of the places we wanted to go, and we covered it. We also did the Sensoji Temple. It's very pretty. It's one of the famous temples and shrines in Japan. But again, that day and the path leading up to the temple is full of shops, souvenir shops, food shops. So you can eat and buy along the way. But it was super crowded. One thing we did realize that we entered Tokyo on 1st January, either on 1st or 2nd. And from that point onwards, up until 3rd January or 4th January, it was very auspicious for locals to visit shrines. So they were very crowded. We did a touch and go for Sensoji Temple, but I did visit it last time also when it was not that crowded, and the experience was beautiful. So I think for Sensoji Temple, the timing does matter. And then obviously there are these shopping streets, which is the Shinjuku shopping street. There's the posher Ginza shopping street where you have more a little more the moment you enter Ginza expensive. And Shinjuku has all kinds of shops and malls and stores. We went to the Tokyo Skytree, amazing aerial view of Tokyo from up there, like some I've forgotten which floor we went to, but it was really high up, like 60th floor or something like that. And the
Wow.
entire observatory was very nice. You could spend some time there and take your shots. And there was also a space where the floor was glass, so you could look down. There was a
Mhm.
little people with vertigo can stay away, but it was really nice. So those were the top attractions. But we really did also go to one very non-touristy place, which is a Tokyo Bay area. Now, I've never seen photos of this area on Instagram or anywhere else. So when we
Mhm.
discovered this area is at the far end of the corner. So this has the skyline and the bay water from Tokyo. So, and it's completely empty. So we went to have dinner, lunch at we went to have the birthday lunch because one of the hotels was situated there, and that's how we got to discover that area. So we walked along the roads, which were all empty, and then we walked along a bridge, which really gave us amazing views of the bay. We watched the sunset and came back. So it was a very unplanned, but nice also. So this was
Mhm.
a part of Tokyo we've never seen before, even on the social media. Yeah.
And compared to all the crowds that you were seeing at the attractions and the crossings, this must have been a great relief.
Yeah, because the walks were lonely. It was different from all the
Mm.
crowds at the shrines and all the crowds at all the shopping streets. That was complete calm and quiet at that part of the town.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention Harajuku. Harajuku is a unique shopping destination. Unique. So it is one lane full of shops and stores and everything. And what they promote is the kawaii culture. You know, kawaii culture is the cute culture of Japan. Everything is cute. And you know how cute things can get in Japan. So ice cream that they're selling will be cute with the face of a duck or a panda. There's a cake or some kind of sweet thing that you can it's very colorful and Instagrammable. So everything has a look that can be Instagrammed. That is the kawaii culture. It heavily promotes cosplay. So
Mm.
you'll see people dressed up and walking the streets without a care in the world in the weirdest clothes. So that's Harajuku for you. And the moment we looked at the lane, we hadn't entered, we could see a sea of people, like heads. So we were like, should go dive in. And we're like, yeah, chuck it. If we don't, then we'll miss out on the amazing things that they have. And once you're part of the crowd, you can work your way. And as Indians, we know that we have that art and that skill to maneuver the crowd. So we did that pretty well. Picked up some interesting souvenirs, chopsticks, personalized chopsticks. You can have them in written in Japanese or in English. And that they're really made for really cute souvenirs and gift items. And
Mm.
then, yeah, we picked up a lot of interesting things, ate a lot of colorful stuff. So they have like crazy concepts over there. They have a cafe, which is like a giant, colorful space. Like color has exploded inside that cafe. And they
Oh,
have big mugs, those are seating areas. And they have a concept of a dancer coming in suddenly, surfacing from a cake and dancing for you suddenly. So they
wow.
have these crazy concepts in there. So you have to really explore Harajuku with time in hand. We did one walk, went into
Mm.
different shops, lost each other along the way. Somebody has found something, has gone. If you're familiar with the concept of Daiso store, that's a Japanese $1 store. So they
Oh,
have crazy good things. So there's one in Singapore, which is essentially a $2 store, but in Japan is $1. So if you go to Daiso, there's a five-story building. I think 1 hour is lost already. So yeah, you have to have time in hand when you're going to Harajuku.
you
Yeah.
were fighting
It's
against time and people in that lane.
yeah, totally. But it's very vibey, and I really like that place, even though it was crowded. I think that's some Japan for Tokyo for me. Yeah.
Okay. You're moving around within the cities. Were you also taking bus?
Yes, we were taking buses and trains. A couple of times we took cabs, and it really pinched our wallets because cabs are very expensive, especially for short distances. It doesn't make sense to pay so much. but
Mm,
mostly we were traveling in buses and trains. So what we had done, bought the Shinkansen Japan Railway Pass, the JR Pass, as it's
mm,
known, and it's crazy expensive. From last year, they have increased the price by 70%.
mm,
So basically, people take the JR Pass if they have to go intercity because the rides are free once it's a one-time payment, and then you can ride as many times as you want. And they also say the Japan Rail Pass covers a lot of intracity lines, but those are very far and few and limited. So what
oh,
we paid that amount for JR Pass, and then we again had to buy extra tickets for the intracity lines. So that was a really not so intelligent decision on our part. So for people who want to buy the JR pass, they should do a cost benefit analysis that whether they should actually go for that pass if they're going multiple cities like day trips and hopping from one city to another definitely makes sense. But if it's just the two, three places, then maybe individual tickets would be better. But
and the
I think you get something like the Suica card, the paid wallet. It works everywhere from your buses to your intracity train lines and everything. So that is also quite convenient to buy and just tap along you go wherever you want to go. But
mm,
yeah, mainly trains and buses. Buses
mm,
are a little hard to figure out, but with the right apps, you'll know that which bus is going to come and go. So we figured it out. So I think others will too.
okay. So within all three cities, Kyoto, Osaka, and Tokyo, trains and buses for intracity travel are good. And I want to know about the places you stay at, the accommodations that you chose in the three destinations. For the first one, Kyoto, you mentioned that you divided it up between two places.
Yeah, we divided it because we were torn between modern conveniences and authentic experiences. So yeah,
Mm,
we chose the first hotel was Hotel Wing International in Sanjo, Kyoto. There are a couple of Wing Internationals across the city, and we went to the wrong one the first time. And then we realized, oh, this is not the Hotel Wing International. Ours is Sanjo, Kyoto. So you have to be careful about the neighborhood and not just take the first one on the map. This was in the Gyeon district that I was telling you about. That it was easy to walk and roam the streets at your own pace. So this hotel was actually really great. It didn't look like a hotel actually. The exteriors blended with the residential houses, so we almost missed it. The inside was very authentic, not very modern, but it had all the modern comforts. But the look and feel was very authentic.
mm,
And they had an amazing feature. A space where guests can come in and take whatever skincare that they have to offer for free. So they had these little sachets of the six-step J beauty routine. I wouldn't call it K beauty because in Japan it's J beauty. So you
mm,
have the essential oil, serum, moisturizer, sunscreen, everything. And the quality was so good because the weather was very harsh. So the oils and everything, really, there was good quality skincare in there. So we would pick up and grab sachets every time we would pass that area. They had the softest towels, fresh towels, and the softest pajama sets that you
oh,
can wear. People were actually roaming all around wearing the pajama sets, and the guests were using it. And it was the material would be so soft that you would be tempted to wear it. Otherwise, we would have given it a miss. But
mm,
they had touches and free coffee tea and soup where you could just go to the vending machine and grab whatever you wanted to. But it was from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. So it
mm,
never really worked for us because we would get up in the morning and head out early, and they refused to open it at that time. Yeah, we had to get our coffee on our own, but they did have this small little window where guests could
mm,
get it. And then the Machiya house was close to there are temples and Fushimi Inari was like other side of Kyoto. So it was very quaint. It was called Yaiya, Yaeyya. That was the name of the house. Or I'm not sure how they pronounce it, but it was the cutest. The moment we saw the house, we fell in love, and they really utilized a small space so well with all the amenities, with everything. We booked for 5 people. They have tatami beds, like the low beds, just the mattresses. So they had a bed for one on the ground floor and a wooden steep stairway up to the main bedroom where all four, five beds were all on the ground side by side. So that was the main bedroom.
Mm.
and it was very pretty. It had heated floors, and even the bathroom had a heated floor. And
Oh,
if you
wow.
weren't careful, you would burn your the soul. So, yeah. So it was nice, but yeah, you had to be a little careful too. We would be like looking for our slippers, so like it's too hot. But but yeah, upstairs was spacious, and you peek out into the neighborhood, and you get into the entire zone of staying at a very authentic Japanese house. But the downsides were that this because this stairway was like a wooden ladder-like stairway. It wasn't like not like a
Mm.
regular thing. Five of us had five huge suitcases, so we couldn't lug it up, and
Mm.
everything had to be kept on the main living area, and we had to come down for every little thing that we would forget to take upstairs. And it had only one bathroom. The bathroom was really big, spacious, and very luxurious for a small mature house. It was a luxurious bathroom, like five-star level bathroom, but
Mm.
just one, five people, one bathroom, not a good idea. Especially when you want to get out in the morning on time for your attractions and itinerary. That was the only hitch, but I wouldn't mind those smaller things because the overall experience was very nice and cozy. Yeah.
Both of those Kyoto accounts really sound quite wonderful, especially like the first one for the free samples that they gave you. That's
Yeah,
quite unheard of, and seem to have gone out of their way to cater to the needs of the guests.
absolutely. The host thought about everything. We booked this through Airbnb, this
Mm.
matcha, and it was seamless. They gave us a passcode to enter the house. We did have apprehensions about it that what if it doesn't work, then we'll be stuck. But it was seamless, absolutely. Yeah. They thought of every single thing from umbrellas at the doorstep to coffee, tea. They kept a little note for us, like welcome, and that kept an area with all the coffee, tea, sachets, and some snacks. So that was a really nice personalized welcome.
Yeah, that's so cool. Did you have meals at either of these two accounts? Did they serve meals?
They do. The Airbnb did not serve meals, but it is located really close to a convenience store. And if you're in Japan, convenience stores are everything you need. If you don't want to go to any restaurant, you can just survive on convenience stores because
Mm.
the kind and the variety of food is amazing and really cheap, easy on the pocket. So yeah, so it was like a stone's throw away to a convenience store, and had a really cute cafe just beside our house, but it was closed for the holidays. We did not eat at the Airbnb because we were out all day, and then we would go to any district for our dinner, like Gion or some place like that. But
Mm.
at the hotel also we did not eat, even though it did have a restaurant. But again, we were outside most of the time grabbing local food at shops.
Okay. Was your account like in Osaka?
Osaka's was the most different. It was a service department, part of the university. So this university was called Kansai University, and the neighborhood had very hipster vibes. There would be graffiti walls. There would be like a bunch of very grunge shops and Italian cafes, giving it a very hipster vibe. I totally love that neighborhood because we could just walk along the colorful lanes and hit a 7-Eleven. That was my favorite activity, to wake up in the morning, walk down, grab my breakfast and my drink for the day, and come back again. So that was really cool. And ours was on a 10th floor, like a service department, spacious,
Mm.
and just 8 minutes to a train station, to the nearby train station. So you could really walk down. It was called DDC Umeda. So Umeda was the name of the neighborhood. So the station that we were closest to was Umeda Station. So
Okay.
that was really, really convenient. And the best part was the right below the building was a library themed Starbucks. And it
Oh.
was so pretty. Yeah, it was really open spaces, books and everything. But we never had time to sit at that Starbucks and enjoy a coffee because we were always on the run. But
Mm.
it was really nice. And again, really close to convenience store. Like I said, I could just walk down and grab my breakfast. But the only thing was they did not leave any tea or coffee sachets, which is something that you take for granted because they did have an electric kettle,
Mm.
but nothing apart from that. And they wouldn't come to clean the room or change the sheets until after you've checked out. If you're staying for a couple of days, it's fine. But if we stayed there for 5 days, by the end of it, we were really thinking it would have been better if we were in a hotel. But I guess for 2, 3 days, it was fine. But one
Mm.
plus side was it did have a washing machine. So we
Oh.
were traveling for a while now. So we had a lot of laundry. So we were happy to get the laundry out of the way in the hotel itself. So that was a
Mm.
big plus for us. Made up for the dirty rooms at the end of the day. Clean clothes made up for it.
Yeah. And what about Tokyo, the last one?
Yeah, Tokyo. So basically, when we landed in Tokyo, we were only staying there for one night before heading out to Kyoto. We opted for the cheapest, most budget chain. They have APA. So that's a budget line hotels, and but the rooms are tiny. The rooms and bathrooms are really tiny, just about enough space to move around and yeah, things like that. And but if you have your suitcase, then you probably have to climb on the bed and walk to the other side. Yeah, it's really tiny, but it served the purpose for one night. So we didn't want to stay for more than one night. And it's really budget. So if you are a budget conscious traveler and staying in small spaces doesn't bother you so much, then that
Mm.
Appa Hotel is the right choice. But when we came back to Tokyo, we stayed at this place called Citadine Central Shinjuku. So it's right in the heart of the city. So Shinjuku is a very popular place and it has a nice vibe, central. Yeah, so we wanted to stay centrally. So this was the hotel that we chose mainly because it looked more spacious than the rest of the hotels. Space is an issue in Japan if you're staying for more than 2 nights. Yeah.
Mm.
So otherwise, yeah. So this one had it was really spacious by Japanese standards and very well planned spacing, lots of a TV table that doubles up as a work desk. They did space management very cleverly, very intelligently they did it. And the location was like about 8 to 10 minutes walk from the Shinjuku station. And there was also bus stop nearby because we were taking a lot of buses. So it was like a 5 minute walk. And then there was a Lawson, which is a convenience store right downstairs. Like you walk down and Lawson is there. Really put on a lot of weight because of that Lawson in the last 5 days. We would be going down just to grab, oh, that one had caught my eye. Let me just go down and grab it. So it is that convenient to go. So we were just walking down to get more and more food every day. Then yeah, there's complimentary coffee at the reception area. So at the front desk again from 12 p.m. to 9 p.m. The timings really did nothing for us again. We could not avail the complimentary hours at any hotel because
Mm.
it begins from 12 p.m. and we're out by that time already. But they had that. And yeah, it's just that they did not have the complimentary sachets, the coffee sachets or the packs in the room. I guess they thought that because they have the free hours, people would just come and get them from the front desk. So yeah, that was the only small nitpicky minus for me. Yeah. But other than that, yeah, because Lawson was nearby, it was downstairs. I could just go down and pick my tea and coffee in the morning, so it didn't bother me so much.
I think most of the accounts you picked were in neighborhoods where food and beverages were readily available.
Yeah. So one thing about this neighborhood though is that because we were traveling as a group, it is sort of a part of the red light district. It's close to this place called Golden Guy, which is a little bit notorious. So at night you do have this place suddenly comes alive with all these bars, and the restaurant also has a lot of people outside the restaurants calling out to tourists to come in. There are a lot of tourist traps over there if you're not careful. There's an announcement constantly at the start of the road, the main traffic junction. Be careful of pickpockets, be careful of these tourist traps, things like that. There are warnings going on, but
Mm.
alongside the warnings, these happenings are also taking place, probably for solo travelers, male or female. It doesn't matter. It's probably not a good idea to stay here. But if we were a group, we would also like huddle and walk and not look at people who would be calling out to us. Yeah, that was also funny. Some of the things they would say to you. You can laugh as a group, but as a solo
Mm.
traveler, it might be
It gets
intimidating.
difficult.
It really had a lot of nice pubs and bars and shops. So if you want to grab a drink at maybe a British pub, which is right next door, that's a good place for you to be with your friends. In packs. Yeah, if somebody, one of my friends got left behind because they were looking at something else and he was like, don't leave me, I'm coming. So like, yeah, move and pack, don't get left behind.
That's a good suggestion. So we're nearing the end of this session. I want to now ask you about the tips that you would have for first-time travelers to Japan.
Okay,
What?
last we made a lot of mistakes, so we wouldn't want them to make the same mistakes also. So just to have a lowdown of the tips. So apply for your visa well in advance. Keep 2 months in hand because you never know when to over tourism is hitting Japan, and it is hitting Japan all the time. So yeah, do that. If you travel in winter, it's very crowded. I would love to see Japan in autumn with all the fall colors because we caught the last of the fall colors in bits and pieces here and there, and that sort of made me imagine what a beautiful experience this would have been had I
Mm,
visited either in Sakura season, which is also very touristy, I've heard. It's very
mm,
crowded, but autumn colors must be really beautiful. I'm a sucker for autumn colors. I would love to go back during autumn again. And then, yeah, all these major attractions like Harry Potter, Universal Studio, even the Tokyo Disneyland, which was not in our list at all. But if you wanted to go,
mm,
must well in advance because with your dates and the booking slots, the timing may not match. All
oh,
the yeah, all of them may be sold out in advance, so you have to book it in advance.
mm,
And JR Pass, a huge expense, so make sure you're spending your money wisely. Do a cost benefit analysis to see and buy a Suica card for convenience for moving around intracity in buses and in trains. We did not have the Suica card, but what we did was these people take cash only. So we were counting the exact cash and keeping the money ready when we were boarding it. So there would be no like bottleneck in the queue for us because we would be like, yeah, the first time was like that. And we had these hot, angry stares. So next
oh,
time we keep all the money ready, the exact change, and pay for our tickets. So that was one. And then the Wi-Fi for sure. You can buy a eSIM before you get to Japan. Keep it ready so that when you land, you can just switch on the eSIM and you have
mm,
network. And the other option, obviously, you can buy a pocket Wi-Fi. We did not buy a pocket Wi-Fi because we were traveling in a group. Obviously, a pocket Wi-Fi will not make sense. So we activated the eSIMs. We bought the eSIMs. But a pocket Wi-Fi works for couple or solo traveler. It
mm.
works well. The range is also pretty good. So yeah. Also booking your accommodation, we did want to like the hotels that we booked were not our first choices. We did end up getting good ones for sure, but we had seen better accommodations also, but they were all sold out again
Mm.
because of our impromptu and we were pressed for time. So yeah, book in advance so you can get your first choice of accommodations also.
2 months in advance is what you'd recommend.
Minimum. Earlier the
Mm,
better. Especially for like year-end holidays, people
mm,
definitely make plans 4 months with 4 months in hand. So you
mm.
have to be there to get the best of your bookings, best of the tickets and everything.
Did you face any issues with language while you were there? Did people speak English or did you struggle a little bit at some time?
No, actually, surprisingly, we didn't. We thought we would, but
Mm,
Google Lens is a savior. So anything, any item, any product we couldn't understand, we would just Google Lens it out and understand. But other than that, we had downloaded apps and we did ask also a couple of times. A lot of people understand English these days, but
mm,
otherwise, if you just show the place to somebody, they are only too happy to show you around and they're very polite. Japanese people are very polite not in this trip, but in a previous trip, we were looking for a dinner place, a restaurant, particular restaurant in Shinjuku area, and we were not able to find it. And we found this gentleman walking past us, and we asked him, "Do you know this place?" And he insisted on taking us to that place.
oh,
Like
wow.
it was really 2 lanes away. It was not as if end of the
Mm,
lane or something. And we kept telling him, "Just tell us the
mm.
direction." And he probably didn't understand so much English. So he just wouldn't hear of it. He just went there and thanked us. And we didn't know what to say. Yeah. So Japanese people are super polite. I don't think asking around with all the apps in place, because Japan is such a hot destination right now. Google Translate, Google Lens, I think it's quite easy.
Okay. I think I'm down to my last question for you now. I want to know what all souvenirs did you pick up from Japan?
Oh, souvenirs, yeah. Picked up from all over the place. So from Miyajima Island, I did pick up a very nice representation of the Torii Gate, which was on the water. Very
Mm,
cute. Story Gate. We did visit in Harajuku. Actually, we saw lots of souvenir shops. So the personalized chopsticks I was talking about, Mount Fuji shot glasses, those
Yeah.
were very cute. Then geishas. Geishas are a very geisha figurines are very popular gift items. So I had picked up one in my first travel, so I did not pick up one more. But the beautiful the collection they have. So that's something you can pick up. Lots of J beauty stuff like shampoos and all the viral products, especially hair care, skincare, and makeup. J makeup is really nice. Those are the top souvenirs. And you cannot discount these as souvenirs also. The Japanese snack boxes that you can get, the packaging and everything that you can made for carrying back to your place.
Mm.
So they have like lots of things from biscuits to cookies to savory snacks to sweet snacks. So we just picked up as many as we could randomly without knowing. We would understand the flavor of it. So we could pick like whether you want matcha or something like that. But we and all of them were so good. So we were
Mm.
like, why did we not pick up more? We did not have space in the first place. But yeah, one more thing that can be counted as a souvenir from Japan are the wide range of Kit Kat flavors. So they have these really weird and unique flavors like apple, sake, and yeah, whatnot. So you find all these unique flavors that you can pick up, and they're only unique to Japan. You will not get them anywhere else. We do have a Japanese store in Singapore. They also sell it, but the variety in Japan is much more. They sell only the popular ones.
Yeah, that's an exciting thing to pick up there. It's unique.
Very unique.
Yeah. So I think that we have come to an end of our session today. Thank you so much for joining me, Dia. It was really fun listening to you, and I've been imagining all these places that you've been talking about. I really want to book my tickets and go now.
I'm glad to have inspired you.
Yeah, I hope that our viewers will also find all the details that you have shared useful. And with that, we will close up for today. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Thanks, Ananya.
Bye.
Bye.